I am Brenda Cobb. I'm the founder of the Living Foods Institute in Atlanta, Georgia. And I have a mission for helping people to create optimum health and to stay well for their entire lifetime. And the reason that I'm so passionate about it is because of my own health journey. So back in February of 1999, I was diagnosed with both breast and cervical cancer. The doctors told me that I had to do a mastectomy and a hysterectomy, and that I then would have to do chemo and radiation. Well, my mother and every one of my aunts on my mother and my father's side had been faced with various types of health issues like breast, cervical, uterine, ovarian cancer. And they had done the traditional treatments. And usually the traditional treatments can include surgery, energy in all the energy centers and helps the body to heal on a cellular level. And so when she comes around to offer you the oil, you'll just put a drop in the palm of your hand and rub your hands together, and it'll absorb right in through your skin, right into your blood. And then just hold your hands up to your nose and take some nice deep breaths, okay? Because it not only helps in healing, it really smells quite nice as well. All right. Now, we have 5 reasons that people get sick. Now, people try to guess what these are all the time, and it's a lot of fun to guess what they are. In the interest of time today, I'm going to go ahead and tell you what they are so that you don't have to really try to guess exactly what these things are, okay? And we're going to start with the number 1 most important, in order of most important. So here's a hierarchy of healing. So the number 1 most important thing for a person to restore and maintain optimum health, or if you're already in good health, to take you to the height of your best health, has nothing to do with what you eat. Nothing at all to do with that. It is all about how you what? How you think. Because the proper thinking can actually control everything happening with yourself, your body, your health, your nutrition. So if you're eating a really pristine diet, but you are a negative thinker, you sabotage the good that you could be doing for yourself. So more important than anything is, how do you think? Are you a person always thinking in a positive way? Are you a person that's maybe thinking more in a negative way? Now, we actually teach techniques of getting your thinking to a very positive level, because in the society we live in today, a lot of us say negative things, but we don't really even realize that we're saying negative things. One way is whenever you maybe do something nice for a person, and they say, "Thanks for doing that for me," and the person responds by saying, "No problem." Now, I was born and raised in the South, and in South Carolina. Well, my mom and dad always taught me that when someone thanked you for something, you said either "you're welcome" or "it's my pleasure." Okay, and that has much more of a positive vibe, doesn't it, than saying to somebody, "Well, no problem." Okay, so we really want to be conscious of that. Now, the number 2 reason that people get sick and develop an illness in their body, again, has nothing to do with what they eat, but about the emotional stuff, emotions that actually are deep within the cells of the body. Did you know that there is an emotional reason for every single illness that we develop? If you know that, raise your hand. I'd like to see how many people believe that. Because really it is the emotional self that we must heal in order for the physical body to heal. One of the reasons that we spend a lot of time with our clients in helping them, first of all, to realize what their emotional stuff is. Sometimes people don't realize, because it could be something way back from when you were in the womb and had not been born yet. It could be something that happened when you were very tiny as a little child. It could be something that actually happened to you last year or last month, because emotional stuff attaches to our cells, and then that manifests into other stuff that then creates a physical illness or ailment. So number 2, you've got to always be thinking about is healing your emotional self. Not as difficult as you may think once you learn the techniques that we use and teach at our center, and how to make it easier for you, because sometimes people want to avoid healing emotions. They say, "Look, it's more painful to deal with the emotional stuff than it is for me to change what I'm eating." But it's more important to do that than anything else. Now the number 3 reason, and I heard somebody mention it as I was talking early on, about something that really affects everybody. We face it every single day, and in the world that we live in, it is a part of our lives, and I know that everybody can guess what it is, and it starts with the letter S, so say it loudly. What is it? Stress. But here's a key about stress. It's never what happens to you that makes any difference. It's your reaction to what happens to you. Because you can choose to get all bent out of shape and stress your own self out, or you can choose to stay calm and to be able to deal with whatever that situation is in a way that does not cause you the stress. Because stress can raise the blood pressure. It can actually produce a heart attack. Stress can make people's skin break out. It can create insomnia. Stress can create aches and pains within the body. But guess what? On the inside of the body, it can be playing havoc with every one of your internal organs and glands. So, more important than anything is mental thinking, emotional healing, and stress management. Now, the number 4 reason that people get sick is something that, again, all of us throughout our lives, most probably, have had accumulate in our body. What do you think it would be? It would be toxins, right? So toxins can accumulate over time. Now, you know what? As we're younger, a lot of times we think, I'll never be sick. I'll always feel great. And then one day we get a little older and now we have an ache or a pain and we think, well, what is that? I never had that before. Okay, so as we, in the beginning and early stages, many times we think nothing will ever go wrong. But as we age, we become more mature, we then begin having these issues. And a lot of times it's coming from toxins like additives, preservatives, chemicals, colors, dyes that can be put in food, or from the air that we breathe, or from the water that we drink. Toxins can come from the furniture we sit on, or our carpeting, or what we clean our home or our office with. Toxins can come from what we shampoo our hair with, or put on our skin as a lotion to make us softer or more moisturized. Actually, toxins can come from so many places. And toxicity is a key element in a person developing a disease. So it's extremely important to learn how to detoxify and cleanse the body. And something that goes right along with the toxicity level in the body and parallels it is the deficiency in the body. Because people may think that they're eating a very good diet, but they're deficient because they may not even be absorbing the nutrients from their foods because their digestive system is not working properly. And so we have to help a person to restore their digestion, their assimilation, and their elimination to an optimum level so that the body can do what it was created to do, which actually is to heal itself. Do you think the body can heal itself? It really absolutely can. You know what? If it couldn't, most of us probably already would have keeled over because it's been working, magnificently all these years to keep us alive and at its best to keep us well. Now, the last thing on this list, I know everybody is going to guess because you know that I am known as the raw and living foods lady. And so what is most important as number 5 is what you eat. Absolutely. All right, so let's talk about that. Did you know that when you eat raw foods that most all of them are alkaline to the body? And the more alkaline that your body is, the healthier it is? Did you know that all these beautiful alkaline foods like your vegetables, your fruits as an example, that if you heat them, even if it is only for 2 or 3 seconds or even a light steaming, that you now have turned them from alkaline to what? To acid. And the acid body is that a healthy body? No, it's a sick body. And so remember that eating the cooked food is going to contribute to the acidity, but eating the raw food is going to contribute to the alkalinity. Now, when you eat raw food and it's not been heated, not only is it alkaline, but also all of your nutrients, your vitamins, your minerals, and all the nutrient density in the food is intact. So you're getting the most optimum nutrition. But if you heat the food, you do things like destroy the enzymes that help digest the food. You compromise the vitamins and the minerals, so you're not getting the nutritional density from the food that you're eating. So a lot happens when we cook our food. So the more that you make a choice for yourself to eat the raw vegetables and raw fruits and the nuts and seeds, but be sure that you soak your nuts and seeds, especially good if you soak them in a filtered alkaline water that actually can remove those enzymes that are on the outside. It's like an enzyme inhibitor. And what it does is it prevents the enzymes that are in the food from being able to help you to digest the food. Okay? Very important. Now we have two categories, though, of foods that are raw. We have something called raw food, and then we have something called living food. Now they're quite different. So we know what a raw food is. I mean, we could name a lot of them, like broccoli and asparagus and kale and collards and celery and cucumbers. Or we could name fruits like apples and bananas and blueberries and strawberries. But if we're talking about a living food, we're talking about a particular category of food. And what is that? It's a sprout, a sprouted food. What that means is that there is a little shoot that is growing from that nut or from that seed or from that bean. Now, here's something amazing about that. A living food has from 100 up to as much as 100,000 times more enzymatic activity and more nutritional density than even a raw food. And so that's one of the reasons whenever I wrote my book, I've written 10 books on health and healing, and in my first book I named it The Living Foods Lifestyle, because I wanted people to become aware that living foods are different from raw foods, and it's important to include both in your diet to really help you heal or to help you stay well and have a lot of energy. Does that make all sense to you? Because everybody's going, yeah, I got it. So it's very, very important. Now, here's something that happens, though, with people many times. They want to get better and they want to heal, but they don't really actually know what all is happening inside their body. And without the knowledge of what is happening inside the body, they may even be attempting to eat better or do better, but sometimes they may be eating something they think is healthy, and it may be a healthy food for an average person, but for whatever reason with them, they're allergic to that food. And when they eat that food, their body then develops inflammation. That inflammation contributes to them getting sick. Sometimes people say, you know, I'm eating healthy, but I'm always tired, or I don't sleep well at night, or my skin is always breaking out. I don't understand. But it's because they don't realize that maybe they have heavy metal toxicity, like aluminum or lead or mercury or cadmium or manganese. Maybe they don't realize that they have fungus, mold, or yeast, candida. They don't realize they have parasites. So there's a lot of things that can be happening inside the body, but we are not aware of them. The average person doesn't even know what their vitamin and mineral levels are. They may say, oh, I take vitamins and minerals. But a lot of times whenever we see what's going on with the person, we realize they're not absorbing what they're taking. I've had so many people that have come to my center that have owned these companies that have porta potties. You know what the porta potties are, okay? And they tell me that when they clean out these porta potties after events, that they many times will find several gallons of whole pills. So like people might be taking these expensive vitamins, but they never break down in the body to be assimilated. So I was praying for years, how do we really know exactly what is happening? What is a way that we can really determine it? Something that people can do and they can find out and that people can afford to do. I don't know about you, but in the United States, it seems that testing and all these things that have to do with helping us with our health are so expensive. A lot of them health insurance doesn't pay for, and people would do better, but they can't afford to do whatever it is that they need. And then, by the grace of God, we found out about this incredible machine called the Health Scope Scan. And we started using it about 5 years ago. And we brought it with us to Canada so that we could use it here to help people, because it tells us everything. We can scan the skin using a laser with no radiation or toxicity involved. It goes through and scans every layer of the skin. And that information is where everything about your body that is going on is held in the tissues of your skin. That information goes into a medical lab. And then they send us back a 12-page physiology report. And in that report, we're able to see everything. So we see every organ and gland. We see if it's inflamed, if it is congested, if it is depleted, if it needs support in some way. It tells us every single vitamin and mineral level. So we're not guessing. Now, is the person actually absorbing nutrition? Are they taking vitamins, and are they actually getting something good from it? And it breaks them down individually. It doesn't just say B vitamins. It tells us B12, B6. I mean, every single very, very minute information. It tells us amino acid levels and oxygen levels. Next thing it tells us is, do you have heavy metals? Which ones do you have? What are your levels? How high are they? Do you have fungus, mold, yeast, or bacteria? Those things connect to heavy metals. How much of those things, if any, is in there? Have they connected to each other? So now they're even causing more problems. And then another thing I love that it does, it tells us if you are allergic to hundreds of foods. Not only does it tell us if you're allergic to them, it tells us if you're sensitive to foods, meaning that you are going to develop an allergy if you keep on eating that food. So we know if we need to tell you to take a break from that food, or to cut back on the quantity of it that you're eating. Or if you need a specific herb, it will tell us which one you need in order to cleanse and detox. It'll even tell us if you need a homeopathic or if you need a Bach remedy. So now we can get very specific. So before, as people were coming to us and they had an illness, and it may take them 6 months, 9 months, or even a year to completely recover their health, now because we're able to tell these things, people are able to heal much faster, and everything is individualized. So it's not a one-size-fits-all. It's an individualized protocol. So that has been a great gift, because now we have the knowledge to know what's happening, and we can do something about it. Isn't that a great tool to have? Because sometimes people say, I don't want to know. Do you know people like that? I don't want to go to the doctor because I don't really want to know. Probably the information is going to be bad news, and I don't want to know. But here's the thing. We do want to know. We want to be empowered, because if we know, then we can do something about it, okay? So we have that machine. It's very, very inexpensive. You can run by our booth, and in 10 minutes you can have a scan done, and then you will be able to have information. You can help yourself. Very, very powerful, okay? We're in booth number 114. Thank you. We just came from another health expo in the U.S., and we had another booth number 3 days ago, and so, my booth numbers began running together. So we're in number 114. Now, also, too, at our center in Atlanta, we believe there's a lot of things that are important when people actually come to us. So one thing that we think is important is hands-on instruction. See, we think that if people know how to prepare the right recipes and food that taste good, to me, that's the key. People will not eat healthy for more than 1 or 2 weeks if the food does not taste good. Is that right? You want food that's really good. So I was a gourmet cook before I was diagnosed back in 1999. And what was one of the first things I thought is, oh no, I'm going to have to give up all this really good food. But that isn't what happened at all. I took the most delicious recipes that I could find, that everybody raved about and loved, and I transferred them over into a raw and living foods recipe. so that we're able to have things like raw lasagna and raw pastas. We're able to have things like raw pies and raw cookies and raw puddings and raw desserts and raw candies. We're able to have both entrees as well as side dishes. So we're able to have a barbecue rib that is vegan and raw, and a barbecue sauce that is vegan and raw. And so, we are vegan, so we don't use animal or animal products. And then we're raw, so we're getting all these wonderful enzymes, all this nutritional density, but we have not given up even 1% of great tasting food. Now you'll find when you start eating the food that actually in the beginning you'll probably eat more and more, and then you'll realize one day I don't need to eat as much because I'm so satisfied at a cellular level that I actually require less food. And that's an interesting phenomenon too. Now, here's some things that happened for me. I told you, I got started on this because of breast and cervical cancer. But I got all these special gifts as a result of healing my body from the cancer. Here's some things that happened to me. I had had allergies since I was a small baby, and every allergy went away. I had experienced migraine headaches from in my early 20s all the way through, and I'll be 65 on my upcoming birthday. I never had another migraine headache. I never had another sinus problem. I wasn't congested all of the time. My skin cleared up because I had problems with eczema and psoriasis and acne and rashes. My eyesight improved. At the age of 12, I had to start wearing glasses. When I got my driver's license, I had to wear glasses to drive. When I went to the movies, I had to have glasses to see the movie or to watch television. I had no idea when I did this lifestyle that it would improve my eyesight because that wasn't my motivation. But when my eyes were getting better and I was going to my ophthalmologist and he was saying, I don't understand this, your vision has improved. And I said, well, it's because I'm eating better. And this is what he said. It doesn't have anything to do with what you're eating. And I have heard so many doctors say that to me, and I've had so many people tell me that their doctors, when they say, well, should I change what I'm eating? Or in the States, they give cancer patients a book that tells them what to eat. So people will come to me and they'll hand me my book and they'll say, you're not going to believe it. And I'll open the book, and in that book, it will be telling them to eat things like fried chicken and country fried steak and mashed potatoes and gravy, and milkshakes, and cheese. And I'll start reading, I'll go, this is just crazy, okay? Now, I'm not saying that those things don't taste good, but actually the very things they're telling people to eat, and they're saying to them, you need to eat these because it'll keep weight on you, and you need to have a lot of weight on you with cancer. Those very foods they're telling them to eat that are like high in sugar are the things that are feeding the cancer and making it worse. So then I have to stop and go, wait a minute, do they want to help us to get better? Or would they like for us not to get better? And what would be the motivation in our not getting better? Who wins if we're sick? Okay, she says the drug companies win if we're sick, right? Okay, but we lose then. So we want to win. We want to win. Here's why. We deserve it. And the more of our own personal freedom that we have to make our own decisions, and the more self-responsibility that we take so that we become educated and empowered, the better that we are. Then we're not a victim. We're not a victim just to falling prey to what's going on out there in the world, because we have been on top of it and made good decisions for ourselves. So one of the things that I want to mention to you today is that if any of you are thinking, I would love to learn more, then I want you to be sure and come see us, because we got a donation before we came up here, and we have scholarship funds to pay a huge part of the tuition for everybody in this room that wants to come to our center and learn, to be able to get those scholarships to come. So now there's no reason not to. So just know that there are people here that are here to help you, and we would like to help you if you want to do the most important part, which is what? To help what? To help yourself. Does that all kind of fall into place with the way you're thinking? All right. So now a lot of times whenever I start talking about these things, then people want to know, well, what do I do to detox or cleanse? So here's some tips for you. Green foods can help to cleanse your body quite a bit. So drinking wheatgrass juice, that has all your vitamins and your minerals, and it's also pure chlorophyll, and that can help to cleanse. Green foods like juices of celery and cucumber and kale and so forth can help. Blended foods can help. So you put them in one of these high-speed blending machines like, say, a Vitamix. You blend them up, and it breaks everything down into tiny particles, so then you don't have to worry, did I chew it well enough? Did I even absorb the nutrition from the food? So there's some recipes in my Living Foods Lifestyle book, and there's 4 that are the most optimum for the quickest healing, and they are the wheatgrass juice we just mentioned, but the next one is a recipe for a blended drink. We call it energy soup. It is so simple. And then there is another recipe in there for veggie kraut, which is a fermented cabbage kraut. So it is full of probiotics. It has enzymes, vitamins, and minerals, and can help restore health back very quickly. There's another recipe in there for a drink called Rejuvelac that also is a fermented beverage and very easy to prepare. But then there's about 50 other recipes in there of things for you to try and to include in your dietary plan, foods that I believe you're going to love. Now, here's another thing important. Drink a lot of water. Most people don't drink enough and they're dehydrated. So how do you decide how much you should drink? You want to drink at least 1 ounce for every 2 pounds that you weigh. So if you weigh 150, then you want to drink about 75 ounces of water. We like to use alkaline water that has been filtered at our center because we want to bring back alkalinity to the body as soon as we possibly can. That helps a person to heal even quicker. Sunshine is important and fresh air is important. And so many times in the world we live in today, we're told that we need to be slathering on sunscreens before we go outside. And they're full of toxic chemicals. And those things absorb into the body, and they actually bring more harm to the body. So people say, but what about skin cancer? Well, skin cancer develops because of toxins that are in the body coming out of the body through the skin because they can't get out fast enough through other organs of elimination. Now, this is one of the reasons why it's really good to learn how to cleanse your colon. So we teach people about colonics and even how to do enemas themselves to cleanse the colon, and which foods or superfoods or cleansing products are good to clean the colon. Because if your colon's healthy, then the rest of your body is healthy. I remember the first time I heard about that, I put my hands over my ears and I said, that is more information than I need to know. I don't even want to know about that. But as I really learned about it, I realized I do want to know, and I do want to know how to do that because that will help me to heal better. Another thing that improved was insomnia for me. I didn't sleep well, but once I got on this lifestyle, I slept really well, and I found that I required less sleep than I really did before, and I woke up really feeling refreshed. If we'll get off the couch more, we call that in the States being a couch potato. So if we will get off the couch more, exercise just by gentle walking is such a wonderful way. If you like to swim, that's a great way to do it. But if you're swimming in a pool that's full of chlorine, you could be absorbing all of that in through your skin, and that could cause an issue. But if you have a wonderful lake that's not toxic, or if you have a great ocean to go in, that you can swim in, that can be very helpful too. So you see, there's many things. There's never like just one magic pill or bullet, is there? There's a lot of things to do to really bring your health back, all right? Now, you may be thinking, well, gosh, I've got a question, and I'm wondering about, and it can be anything. So I do want to take a few questions now to hear from you. Does anybody have a question? Yes, ma'am. Okay, she has a question about water filtration. The water filtration system that we like to use is the one by Alcavita. That also it also alkalizes the water. Okay, and actually, because you attended today, I consider you a student. And for our students, if you want to check out those machines with us, we give something called a student savings. So they're lower than what you can find on the web and everywhere. Because we just want to empower you to be able to get the things that you really need. So that's a really great one that we found and not expensive. Very nice. Thank you so much. Yes, ma'am.
I use some of the distilled water or the spring water, and I'm just wondering, squeezing a fresh lemon into it, will that make it more alkaline?
Okay, she's asking about distilled water or filtered water. She wants to know if you squeeze a lemon in it, would it make it more alkaline? Well, a fresh lemon would be more alkaline, so that could, but something that could even help it even more than that would be to add some wheatgrass juice, just a touch to it, could make it even more alkaline. Okay, good. All right, who else has a question? All right.